Okay, welcome to the Monday Grow Hour. And I would love to hear if there's anything on anyone's heart to share about how you grew this weekend. Like, what was something that a moment or a memory or, an opportunity that came for you to really step into some personal growth or your family or business growth, anything you want to share. Yeah, Angela, would love to hear it.
Um, I consider this growth. I actually
Yeah.
brought this one up with Terry Ann. I went, as I said, I made a promise to this group that I'm going to do my best to just look at the silly calendar every day and see what I can work in. So I think it was on Friday and it was just me and Terry Ann. So I'm really happy I did choose to hop in there so she wasn't alone for the hour. So that was super awesome. But
Yeah.
this is being recorded. I don't know if I should say it in the way I did before because it's recorded, so it's weird. So my mom, and it's a little political, so that's where I'm feeling that the growth is whatever. So
Okay.
I get a message from my mother sent to myself, my sister, and my uncle. In my head, I think my mom really only meant to send it to my uncle because she knows how my
Okay.
sister and I believe. But she sent this note. Hang on one second. Mom. Here we go. Pray for our country. Biden and his buddies are quickly destroying our country. Soldiers and civilians have died because of this disgrace in the White House. So heartbreaking. That's what I received from my mom. And mom knows to not send stuff like this to my sister and I. And not no matter how anyone believes. It's
Right.
but sending accusatory things does not work so well with us. And so here's where I had growth, or in terms of Terry Ann, courage, is I replied simply, I'm a dot, I don't like drama, right? So here's how I replied was, not pointing fingers or blame anywhere. As you know, I always try to keep the peace. This world needs healing is all I am going to say, and that I love you.
Mm.
That was my reply to my mom after she sent that note.
I love that. That is definitely a celebration of growth, personal growth. And I love that you said this is how you replied, because a focus for me in the last year has been to respond to my children, to clients, to, any interactions, right? To respond, which is like we take pause and we decide what we actually want to bring and what our intention is, instead of, fueling the negativity or, the
Right.
pity or whatever it is.
I could have gone off on
Taking,
her. I mean, that
yeah,
that is not something
exactly.
I would do.
Exactly. Taking
It's
taking
it's
the
her
time to
belief.
like
It's her, it'd be
pause.
me attacking my mom's beliefs, and that's not right.
Right. Yes. So so that is huge growth for you to know that you took the time to say, this is your truth, this is what you know, and that you love her, and just leaving it at that. So I'm going to celebrate your growth this weekend and how you respond instead of
Thank you.
react to something that, very well could have just set you off and you chose not to. So
Right. Right.
yay.
I've seen
Thank you
enough
for sharing.
enough enough
Yes.
drama in my all sides of my family.
Right.
Yeah. Right now
We've got
my
enough.
dad and my stepmom are in, I'll say, battle with my stepsister over
Yeah.
similar things.
Okay.
And I don't like
So
it.
way to choose,
Thank
how
you.
you're going to respond, and not feed into anything more than that. So that's awesome.
Beautiful. No, I appreciate it. We don't
We're
need to
gonna,
go into further.
yeah, so we're gonna pause here. We're at the top of the hour and we're gonna get some celebrations. We have some fresh energy coming in here. Okay, so we are at the bottom half of the second Grow on Purpose Action Hour. And before we went, we were talking about, I always like to know if anyone wants to share any growth opportunities that you had for yourself, your family, your business over the weekend. Since it is Monday, it's always that refreshing feeling of getting back into flow, or just that renewed energy at the top of the week. And also it's the end of the month, right? Like what growth opportunities do you guys have that you want to share? Any moments or memories that were created in that, or anything that comes up around your weekend opportunity that anyone wants to share?
Oh, go ahead, Carol.
That's okay. I had an incredible 3-day last week going to a transitions workshop, and I found a gentleman named Carl. I won't lay his last name, but he has it's called I Do Systems. And it's like I got a free year. But besides all that, it was like I'm joined now to this community of wellness providers, and I have opportunities to expand nationally because of it. And I'm just super excited about that. And I also had some healing opportunities through heart math. And I'm not sure what this lady did, but she got to a core belief and removed it from me that was inherited. I'm like, whew, amazing growth, amazing growth. I feel much more confident in who I am and who I'm supposed to be. And that's
Beautiful. That is beautiful. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing growth, business growth, personal growth. And that's awesome. And I think that kind of goes with my thought process of Sister B was sharing about, she was in her garden and weeding things out. And I love that you share that, that limiting belief that you didn't realize it was there. It was something from the past that, you don't know what happened, but it was there. It was brought to the surface and it was removed. Just really gave me the picture of pulling those weeds. And yes, that is, getting rid of the disbelief or, the patterns that we used to have that need to be removed so that you can be open for the growth that is there for you, the opportunity. So that's awesome. Thank you, Carol.
Yep.
How about you, Foxy?
I was just going to say with getting everything done for September and having that all complete makes me feel good. Like now there's room to look at something else or what's next, because all of that, all the worry of that is gone. And that's another thing that I love about scheduling my posts is I don't have to worry about all of that. It just automatically happens. And so it creates all of this space of, okay, what can I do now with my time? I still have a little bit more scheduling to do, but I love that. And then also I started, I think I did this Friday, but I don't know, but I created the new calendar for the podcast and sent out the emails to all of the past coaches this last season, and I'm starting to fill that up. So that concern is starting to lessen as well. And because I waited a really long time to do that. Usually I start 3 months before the next season, not a month before the next season. So that's growing that as well. And just thinking about how we want the next season to go. How do we want to up level it? How do we want to, how do we want to enter into the new season? And the new group program, because the new class starts in October too. So just all of that.
I love that what you're sharing to me. I'm like, oh, that's planned growth, right? Like you already have the things that you can put out pre-created, right? Like they're already set for your growth and opportunity to like share your messaging with people. And then that leaves the space for in the moment inspiration and like the things that you want to bring forward on top of what was planned for. So you're planning your growth to some extent, and then you're leaving the space open from those being automated and more scheduled. Now you do have the space, like you said, to think about other things that you can grow, forward too. But that also it really just brings up the idea of having space for the in the moment inspiration. I think that's really something that this morning and last week that I was like, oh, I had this thought of, oh, I could create this and really bring this together. And I was like, I'm going to move the thought to action right now. And in the moment of inspiration, I took the action, right? Like I didn't just put it on the list, add it to the things to do. I was like, no, the inspiration's there. I see clearly what I need to do and I would go to it. But I love that you were talking about planning the things for growth. And then that leaves the space for that in the moment movement to happen and to go with it instead of feeling overwhelmed. That is one more thing to do. So that's awesome. Okay, we are at the top of the hour. So we're going to pause here and set some more intentions and give some celebrations, and we will be back. Okay, we have 3 magic minutes to talk about masterminding in the front part of the third grow hour. Has anyone else, Suze or Sister B, anyone else want to discuss what happened like throughout your weekend or in this last week? Anything you want to share about how you're growing or opportunities that have came for your growth? Otherwise, we can talk about mastermind questions.
Well, I guess I had a huge opportunity to grow today. And although we have all our tools in our toolbox, sometimes it's just remembering to use them. You kind of just get all this stuff going on, and then you just kind of get bottlenecked, like, oh, duh, let's go back to the basics. And I'm not a person to really, well, it's not like I called into work. I found somebody to work for me. So, but I couldn't be there today. Like, and my eye was the reminder, like, okay, you had this happen, this happened, this happened. And it was just the reminder that I needed, like, okay, I have choices. I do have choices. And my choice is to not be where I can't be today, So, and then filling myself up with what I need. And if I just even go back 12 years ago, the very core of what put me on a totally different trajectory was getting my feet grounded in the earth and digging my hands in the soil and really like just looking at what was growing and taking out what wasn't. And so I've always had this obviously love with I don't grow stuff super well in the garden because sometimes I forget about it. But being in the garden really brings me a lot of joy and a lot of healing, and it's just medicine for my soul. So I guess just getting back to that, remembering the medicine for my soul that I need.
I love
So
that.
that was really for me.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to just point out that pause, right? The pause that you were like, how do I want to communicate what it was? Because instead of saying, I'm not yada, 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 you paused to say, okay. And then you talked, right? So I want to just point that out for everyone that's watching this to say, the pause is really what we're talking about. And we actually got to see that in action. You literally paused before you could say the words that, we stay away from. So
and when we're too busy, we don't pause. We just keep going. We keep forging ahead. We need to pause.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. That takes us, we are at 11:11, and I'm going to call that a OP. We will see you at 10 to the hour and have fun, be productive. So we have a few extra minutes here to discuss how we're growing. Did anyone else have anything you wanted to share about growing opportunities for yourself over the last couple of days or the week or the last time you were in an action hour? Now would be the time that you could share those opportunities. Because we were just talking about, I was just saying about growth with our virtual summit. and being able to reflect on like results and takeaways and you know, what really was produced from something, right? Produced in growing, and like what came from that, and being able to you know, pivot or assess like where more opportunities for growth is and how to improve, right? Was what was just coming to me in the process. And something that I drew in front of me, this is just, I'm just going to share this because it says grow more good things on purpose. Well, that's what I wrote. But it's really thinking about the idea of aligning your focus with your energy and with your mindset. And really that's how we know we get to choose our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions, which really is the creator of like what happens in our life, right? What happens is as a result of those things coming together so that we can choose appropriately in alignment with our focus, our energy, and our mind so that we can grow more good things. And it's intentional then when we focus on those areas. So anything coming to mind as I was sharing that with anyone? How are
Well, what's kind
you?
of,
Go ahead.
did you have something to say?
No, go ahead, Sister B.
Okay, what was kind of coming to mind to me is how easily, not easily, how quickly things you can get out of alignment with those things. Like we really say, you know what, I mean, being on purpose, and that's what we love about this group, right? Is that we show up and then we remember, oh yeah, I was living on purpose. I was being intentional, and somehow that slipped my mind for a moment. Because I just trying to be very aware of like how things unraveled for me over since last Thursday. So, but slowly that intention just faded away and snowballed into other things, you know, like, so just, I think where I'm at right now and with what you said too, is just being aware of like now just thinking back of like those different moments and what I chose to do or what I was unaware that I was doing because I wasn't being purposeful, and how it snowballed into rolling right into a brick wall and being knocked out instead of like walking my way to wherever I was going and smelling the roses or whatever it was, where I don't know, I feel like I was doing that, but something just wasn't intention, you know, it unintentionally happened. So somewhere along the way, I lost that awareness. So maybe kind of just digging around that and seeing what it was.
Yeah, I would challenge you to think about, you know, that journal that we were talking about, maybe putting some pen to paper around that specific reflection and, you know, recapping, you know, where it started to feel out of alignment, and see, you know, you might be able to find it right there with pen and paper, and kind of get a view of how you want to improve for the next opportunity, that you can catch it faster and that snowball, you know, melts.
Yeah, just something quick around that. It just kind of came to me is that offering myself grace in the transition, because this is a very transitional time of year. And I think that's it right there. I have not offered myself grace in the transition. So thank you. That's it right there.
Good. We will hold the space for the grace in the transition, and you get what you need, Sister B. So I love it. We are at the top of the hour. I'm going to stop here. Thank you for joining the Grow Hour, and we will see you next week.